I feel like you were ahead of your time because I don't even remember how we met.
Yeah, I don't I
I
don't
don't
re I don't
remember.
remember either, and I was trying to think about it this morning when I was showering. I was like, I just remember you being in the studio, and I had this conversation with you, and I was like, "Oh," like, because 'cause you're a big guy too, like, you stand out physically, and I hadn't had anyone that physically intimidating, it's essentially is the word, but one of those things that I was like, "Okay, I seen the physical side. I can't wait to sit down and get to the intellectual side of it." And so for me, when you expressed yourself in our conversation, it was definitely something of like, oh, okay, he's got meaning, he's got purpose, he's got all of these
I was
things.
all over the
You were all over the place,
place.
but I could see the vision. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
You could see like, oh, he's if oriented in the right direction, pointed at the right thing, he can make waves of like real big things. And I'm glad that you came to us and were like honest with us about
Well,
a
it
lot
was
of
it was
things.
the very first time I had ever gotten interviewed. It was the first podcast I ever did.
Yeah.
It was 2017, so I had just gotten out of
Fresh
prison,
out.
fresh out. I
I don't
must
think
have been out.
you must have had at least most of this ink, not all of it
Yeah,
though.
I had most of it. The only one I didn't have was my face. My
That's
my
what it
my
was.
wife is the one on my face, but
Yeah.
everything else was already on me. Um, I was fresh out. I think I was about a month out. That's why I was trying to wonder. I was trying to think. I was like, how did I meet him if my story still wasn't out there?
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's what's baffling
Yeah,
me.
I don't know if someone pointed you in the right direction to us or if it was just
I
something
even
that
tried to look at the emails. Like I looked at the email. I went back at my
Oh,
emails
really?
and I couldn't
Oh,
find nothing.
that's interesting. It's how the world works sometimes. It's meant to be. It's like you found yourself out and you got to I'm like curious what made you was it our podcast that made you get into podcasting, recording and all of this stuff, videography? Was it that or was it just a culmination of like being interviewed by different people and people being attracted to your story?
I think it was a combination of kind of a little bit of everything because I started to notice how I started getting better at telling my story.
Yeah.
Um, it went from like a victim cry to like a classroom, so
Yeah.
like it
Yeah.
changed. And as I started getting better at telling my story, I started learning about camera angles,
Yeah.
dramatic effects, and
Yeah.
and just stuff like that. Like right now, we were doing a shot on the voiceover room,
Mhm.
and I told James it needs to be more dramatic,
Mhm.
more dark. And
Yeah.
he's like, "All right, let me shoot it again." And we shot it, and I was like, "Yeah, that's
There
what
you
we're
go.
looking for."
There you
So
go.
you're able. I fell in love with the fact that you're able to make people cry, laugh,
Mhm.
think, wonder,
Yeah.
anything you want with a simple story.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what that was kind of how I went into all of my learning and it's from my grandfather. He was a storyteller for our tribe and he was someone who held those stories and kind of really um he was really good at telling them and giving them real meaning and kind of also telling them at the right time when they need to be
Yeah.
heard. And so for me it was one of those situations where I was always listening to him, but I was never really utilizing all of that information and utilizing what he taught me. And so when he passed, it felt like I was still early on in the process of getting the podcast off the ground. And when he passed, it felt like my responsibility now to take
Hmm.
hold of all of the things that he kind of gave me, whether it's the actual story, the lesson behind the story, or like how you tell the story.
Yes.
And so it felt like here, this is now yours, and you can use what I given you and give it to someone else or change it up a little bit, make it your own.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've done so far. And I feel very happy about where we stand as far as a community member podcasting and also just as a someone who's giving back in all the ways that we do our podcast.
I was listening to the one that we did, and I was like, "Man, can we delete it, please?" I get so embarrassed of just of what my vocabulary was
Yeah.
back then,
But I mean,
and
you
just
learn, you adjust, you
you know,
grow, and I think that's part of the evolution. I mean, I was taking a look at your some of the visuals, like the ones that you sent me the links of stuff, and the one that stood out to me was like you brought up the kind of the how you tell the story and how you dramatic you can get with it. The one that had the visualization of your story of like they had actors playing
mhm.
you and stuff like that. And so the one that got me and that was so dramatic was the point of like I think you were in they put you in jail and like the head guy was like let him learn. He's either going to survive or he's not going to survive.
Yeah.
And that was so like that was so dramatic to me. I was like, "Oh my god." And it wasn't you, it was an actor portraying you, but I could definitely see you like doing what the actor was doing and doing, kind of your life being, shown on the screen like that. I was like, wow, that's incredible that you even had a moment to like tell someone that story and then they took that visualization and made it even more
I
dramatic.
think we filmed for 2 weeks.
Wow.
It was the first experience that I got to feel like I was in Hollywood because they gave me like a dress room,
Yeah.
and every day I got to check like what kind of snacks I wanted. Just like they were
Yeah.
taking care of me like
Yeah.
big
That's
time.
great.
They would send the taxi to go get me,
Yeah.
pick me up,
Pick you
take
up,
me.
drop you
We were
off.
filming at a studio off a Baseline, a really big studio over there,
Okay.
off a
Nice.
Baseline 32nd Street, like a
Okay.
warehouse
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah.
Um, and we were filming. I got into it with the director twice. Where like I was like fighting words, like because
Oh.
he kept pulling out, and I didn't know what he was doing until I watched the episode. Because I had to wait to watch the episode with everybody
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
And when I watched it, I was in tears, and I was like, "Holy cow!" I was like, "Now I understand why he was being so rough on me. Like he
Yeah.
was trying to get my emotion
Pull it out of
out."
you. Yeah.
And there was a scene where I said, I still feel that to this day.
Mhm.
And I could feel the emotion because that's what he did to me.
Yeah.
Um, it was really cool, man. It was really cool to film that. After that, I got on America's Most Evil Gangsters,
Yeah.
and then I got on Dead Files. And I was like, man, I could do this.
Yeah.
So it's all been like, a learning process. But
Mhm.
you know, I wanted to bring you back and like just talk because
Sure.
a lot of the things that we spoke about in your house when
Yeah.
we did the
Yeah.
podcast were, I want to say, I threw them out there into the universe, and like the boomerang came back.
Came back. And that's the beautiful thing about podcasting is that I do that with all of my guests of like, give me your goals, give me what you're looking forward to, what excites you, all of that towards the end of the conversation so that the opportunity, like, there's this thing of like, if you put it out in the world and you kind of give yourself that concrete notion,
Hmm.
and then it will provide you a stable like foundation to go ahead and move forward and kind of make you honor your what you
Yeah,
put
what you
out there.
said.
And so that is something for me very exciting because we've had guests come back on or I go on other people's podcasts and it's a beautiful thing because I get to see the evolution and my favorite part is continuation of the friendship. Like
Yes.
that's something that I've always found most vital about what I do is continuing the relationship, continuing the networking because I want to root for everyone. I
Yes.
want to be that friend, that cheerleader, whatever it is. But I just want them to know, like, I got your back. Like, I've already heard your
Where you're
story.
you're
I'm
you're
here
a
for you.
healthy male. That's why.
living a healthy lifestyle.
a
But
healthy a healthy male will cheer other males on.
yes. And you know what? That's and as I start to look at the world today, it's like you've met my son and
Yes.
you just saw him and it's something that I hopefully can hand down to him is like, you can be, this guy that roots for everyone and cheers for everyone, but you can also be an independent too. Like you can have your own challenges. The whole thing of my life right now is showing him that dad is passionate and has a passion that he loves doing. He's trying to make that a living. if you can see dad do that and struggle and succeed and fail, all of those things, and he still has a smile on his face, he still has
Yeah.
friendships in his life, then to me, I'm doing right by him.
You know, it's one of those things that right now I'm learning, because I didn't know what a dad looked like.
Mm,
I didn't
yeah.
know, I mean, what even love, any of those things meant. Like I'm learning
Yeah.
as we progress. But my son right now, my son's 17 years old.
Wow.
Uh, he's a big boy. He knows it all.
Yeah.
And he's mad that I wasn't there. So
Mm,
it's been tough. My girls are easy. I got four girls.
yeah.
My girls are easy. My girls just love that I'm back.
The emotions,
It's different, real
yeah,
different.
real different. And especially being that he's older, and that's something that will always, all the missed things, all the missed, moments, will always be something that emotionally he can tap into,
Mhm.
because those are the things that he wanted you there for most for. And unfortunately, you just have to be accepting of those emotions and kind of like work within the bounds of, hey, look, I may not have been there, but I'm here now and
Yeah,
I'm trying my best to be here for you
yeah.
because I want to give you the things that I wasn't able to.
It's tough, bro. It's tough because like I work at the juvenile facility with all the youth, and they listen to everything I say.
Yeah,
It's
they're on hand.
they're
Yeah,
they
yeah.
always listen. I don't know why your kids won't listen to you, but they'll listen to someone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also like, that thing of like, to your own kids, you are not the, I don't even know how to put this.
There's something that they
There's something
say.
that's like they see you that at your, like, even they even see it's like when you go off of your diet, or if you go like, eat a snack or something, they see you in all of those variations of moments. So they know that you are fallible. You are like, you're not perfect. And so when they, something taps into them, like, yeah, I have the moments with my son where I'm like, dude, you need to listen to me. Like, you're not in charge.
Hmm.
I'm in charge. I'm your adult. So it's like those moments are tough on even me. It's like it's definitely it's a learning curve.
You have only one.
I only have one, and that's because my wife's an only child. So she's kind of like, I think we're
We're good.
done.
We're
We're
good.
good. We're good with one. And also for the fact of like financially right now, like the world that it is, I'm like, I think I can only I can only withstand one. I'm like, we do well. We're well, we do well enough. We have a home. I'm very excited. But it's like financially, I look at like, he's gonna go to college, he's gonna want to do something
Yeah.
bigger, and all those things add up. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm good with one. And then on top of that, my brother has two, and they live close by. So they're
Okay.
always
Okay.
hanging out. They're like brothers. All like the two
I
oldest are
think that's
like brothers.
important to have cousins or brothers siblings that you grow up with,
Yeah.
because when you're the only child, like it's just you get into trouble more,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. And
Um,
so you brought this up of like having family members. So I have, and this is first for divulging a little bit more of my life. I have an older cousin. He's the oldest of all of us on my mom's side, and he's in prison right now. And
mm,
so for him, I actually just, he called me, and we've been going back and forth. He knows about my son. He sends me birthday cards. Like, he's an artist, so
mm,
he paints, and he's doing all the murals for the different, like, what the prison
yeah, yeah,
allows him to
yeah, yeah.
do. He'll do the murals, but it's, that type of relationship is tough because he was my mentor, essentially. Where like when I was living out here as a kid and visiting my grandparents, he was the guy that was
Mm.
like,
You looked up to.
yeah, my grandfather's old, like, basically, like, my grandfather gave him a lot more than he gave the rest of us because he's the
Yeah,
oldest.
yeah.
Um, so those like the patriarchal things of like our culture are with him rather than with me. Now the relationship has kind of pivoted because when he went to prison, he was still fairly in his 20s, and I was out of college, or I was in college. He was in prison, and then my brother was living down here. So the third youngest, my mom's youngest sister's oldest, is now that like
Yeah.
patriarchal kind of like, he holds a lot of the stories and stuff like that. But I say that to say the relationship between family member and prisoner, um, it's tough because I want to say certain things to him, like, but I also want to keep him in high spirits, sort of thing. And when I talk to him, it's very surface level. It's
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
we're doing good. I told him about my business, and told him about what's going on with the kiddo, and I want to give him light, sort of thing,
Yeah.
lightheartedness, and not kind of like dwell on the darkness of
Yeah. Yeah.
really, like, his position. But he seems very well off, essentially. He's not too depressed about his situation. He knows what he did was wrong, but he also is learning, and he's trying to survive everything.
I mean, the prison has this thing: either you survive or you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, like, that's my thing of like, just my hope is that he's like you, where um the prison, the mentality is stronger than the body, like, sort of thing,
Yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
like you build yourself into something after this whole thing goes down. Because that's ultimately my love for him is still that, where he's like my older cousin,
Of
and
course.
I want him to do better, be better, and live better. And when he comes out, I will be there for him, open arms. And but that's still, that's still hard, because you want to be as much there for him, but you also want to give him independence
But
where
you
he
also
can.
have to protect your family, your
Exactly.
immediate
Yeah,
family.
so that's the other thing too. It's like, I don't want to look at him in that bad of a light, but essentially, it is what it is. It's a mark on you as a person, but I also know that I believe in second chances. I
Yeah. Yeah.
believe I believe everyone has an opportunity to grow and evolve, and so that's hopefully my mentality is that he's going to see the things that we've offered him,
Hmm.
like, being there, talking to him, doing all those stuff, keeping up with him, and ultimately when he comes out, he'll understand why we did what we did, and ultimately change for the better.
Honestly, I used to be baffled a lot by a lot of dudes that would have their families that would visit them. They would, send them money, and
Hmm.
I never had none of that stuff.
Yeah.
So like, or like they would have a wife that would wait for them for 10 years, send them money, visit them, and then they would get out and leave her.
Yeah.
And I would be like, man, so much disloyalty, man, and
Yeah.
but it was always the ones that que no lo aprovechaban. Like they didn't, like, I guess they didn't really see what they had.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about it.
Because sometimes I
Reflect.
would sit there and I would be sad. And everybody would be shopping. Everybody would be on the phone talking to their family. It would be like Saturday
Yeah.
or Sunday. And I would just be sitting there and I would be like, man, I wish I could have someone to call.
Yeah. Well, it's like, that's the other thing too, where it's like, it's in that time that you're in there. It's like, even at the most celebrated time, like Christmas, all those like Saturdays, like those moments where it's like, it changes just a little bit when you have one
Yeah.
person there and just making a difference. And so, like, my hope is that, you know, I don't visit him. That's the one thing that I told myself, I'm not gonna see him in that confined space. And that's just for me. Like, that's something that I think I can do without,
Yeah.
is seeing him in that position. For my
They have
family,
Zooms now.
yeah, they have Zooms and stuff like that. But it's like, for me, I just, again, I'm like, seeing him in the orange jumpsuit and seeing him, whatever, I'd rather just, I see him in that carefree child stage,
Yeah. Yeah.
teenager stage where he was at. And then when he comes out and he has regular clothes on, you know, it'll be different. He'll be older, but I still will have, I would rather have those, see him like those two moments, not that middle moment of like deep, deep,
It's
confinedness
not
and
for everybody.
yeah,
It
it's not
affects
for.
everybody.
My mom goes out and sees him. My brother does. My dad does. They visit him. I something inside me is like, yeah, I can't. I don't
You're
know
gonna need
why.
to clear that up with him when he comes home, though.
Yeah, I
because he's
will.
gonna have some kind of like uh
He will
no
have,
coraje, but like
yeah,
questions.
questions why, and
Why didn't you go see everybody else did? Why didn't you
yeah, and
like
I will have
that
my answer.
conversation?
Yeah, that's something. It's like because I know, like I'm preparing for all of this stuff, and I know he's gonna want to see like all the things that he's sent me. He
Mm-hmm.
probably will want to see it, and I'm gonna show him because I have him saved, and like all those things. I just I can't be in that. I can't see him in that light because again, I have such respect for him and just overall like love for him that seeing him in that turmoil, like
Yeah, yeah.
that position, will do something to me. But also, just again, I don't think I can stomach it. Even for other prisoners too, like yourself too. I don't know why. I just feel some kind of
There was a
feelings.
moment, bro, where I came out to court. I was fighting a case, and it was the very first time ever one of my aunts had come to court to see me, like my
Yeah.
sentence and all that. And they brought me out completely shackled up from my legs all the way to the top,
Hmm.
everything.
Yeah.
Um, my aunt almost passed out from seeing me like that.
See?
She screamed
Yeah.
when she saw me coming out.
Yeah.
It affected her so much that I get it. It's
Mhm.
it's just, people don't realize is that it's not for everybody, and that, like I was telling the kids yesterday at the juvenile, when you do time, your whole family does it with you.
Yeah.
It's not just you. You in your selfish mind, you think that it's just you in prison. That's why you're like, send me money, do this for me, do that for me. But
Mhm.
no, no, you put yourself there, and all your family are doing the time with you.
Yeah. And that's the other thing where I was like, I feel like it too because every time he calls and I can't answer, or every time he sends me something and I can't respond back, those are the moments where I'm like, yeah, I'm having a hard time seeing him in that light, seeing him in that situation. So for me, I love again, it's like I go back to our childhood and I'm like thinking about all the things that we did together and all the moments that we had, playfulness and just joy. And so for me, that's where I kind of want to keep it. And when he comes out and it's different, he's older, he wants to do other things, that I'm okay with building new memories. But for me, I would like to keep a lot of those good ones as
Yeah.
is.
Are you guys native to here?
Yeah, so my mom's Hopi
Hmm.
and he's Hopi from the Hopi tribe.
Okay.
And so that all of my mom's side lives out on the res.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
When I first met you, it was so funny. I remember exactly after we did the episode, like, I remember bits and pieces where we talked, and I remember leaving, and I had just signed out. I signed up for college
Oh,
at the
nice.
Phoenix College, and I kept telling my baby's mom, the mother of my child. I'm not gonna say baby's mom no more. The mother of my child. I kept telling her, um, man, I need to talk like that dude. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know. He's like the first proper English dude I've ever met. And she was like, what makes you think that? I was like, cuz they just like I was like, watch when you hear the episode.
Mhm.
And it was funny because you motivated me to I downloaded an app on my
Yeah.
phone for words.
Oh, awesome.
Word of the day,
Yeah,
word of the
yeah, yeah.
day, and I started broadening my vocabulary from that day
Beautiful.
from that day forward.
Yeah.
But it's been a learning curve, bro.
You know what? Don't even worry about it because there's something about the coolness factor of the way you talk and I don't know what it is. It's for me sometimes like there's other guys and including my brother as well where it's like your style comes from the way that you talk too. Like the way that you approach life and the way that you speak is is a testament to where you've been and where you want to go to sometimes. And for me, I have always been a book nerd. So it's like when I was little, I was a library assistant, and so my head was in the
In the
books, and
books.
and just again was something that words, especially very like different words, like they seem magical, but they all come back to like basic meanings, and I've always found them magical and fun. And the more that you can have a vocabulary, the more vibrant you can have a conversation where it's
Mm.
like it goes different ways.
Like you
Like
could
you,
articulate your story in different ways because
yeah,
you have different words to
yeah,
use.
and I've always found it interesting too because some words are just fun to say and fun to get out of you. And I don't know, something about the words and the vocabulary just somehow make me want to do them more, like speak more. And I was always speaking too to like adults and other people my age. And so for me, just being able to have a vibrant vocabulary was always important, but also fun because I was saying things that people weren't
Ah.
always saying. And so, I get comments like, "Hey, I've never heard that saying before." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just, I've always also been like, the old TV shows and the old,
Yeah.
movies, black and white
Yeah.
movies. And like, I always found them interesting because they're using very different
Yep.
dialogue than we use today. So for me, it was like, oh, I like that word, or like, oh, what does that mean? Like, I want to remember that for later down the road. And I've been able to retain surprisingly a lot for someone who's like,
Well, if you read,
yeah,
I've noticed that when you read, you pick up a lot of
yeah,
words, especially when you
yeah,
read on regular basis. But you
yeah,
have to actually read.
yeah,
I made the switch to audio, and it's not the same. You
yeah,
don't retain the words the
yeah.
same way.
Yeah. I think everyone's different too because I find myself retaining at least a little bit in the sense of like the overall story when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to
Yeah, yeah,
audio,
the
the
big
big
one.
stuff. But when you like want the specific things, you got to read it. Yeah. It's
Yes.
definitely one of those situations where I'm like, yeah, I remember this one line of a sentence, or I'll remember this paragraph of a story. But when I want to listen and retain the overall
The
story,
overall
I'll
thing.
I'll listen
The
to it.
lesson, pretty
Yeah, the
much,
lesson. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it prepared me. What was it? 3 weeks ago, I spoke in front of 400 people at the Mesa Convention Center,
Nice.
and man, when I was done, I was like, "This is what I've been getting ready for."
Yeah, buddy.
I opened up in a whole different way. Like it was just, I don't know. Like I when I left, I was like smiling so much
Yes.
because I felt really proud of myself. Like
Good.
I was like, man,
should.
I really did it, but it was practice, 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 and people don't realize sometimes you get tired of telling your story,
Yeah.
especially like when I go to prisons and it's like back to back. Like I'll tell my story 7 times in one day,
Yeah.
and the last time I'm like, oh man,
I'm
here we
tired of
go
hearing
again.
my own story. Yeah.
But that 7 times end up being the best one,
Yeah.
where people are crying. You just, the message just hits some,
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
But nah, it's
I'm pretty, you know what? I'll say this. Like, I'm very impressed and like proud of you just
Thank
to be
you.
able to say, like, being able to tell your story is important, but the fact that you've done it multiple times over and over again and still get like physical response back from people on top of, I've never done a 400 person theater or anything like close to that, but it is astonishing to me that you have gone from your words, like someone without a very good vocabulary coming out of where you were, and move and transition yourself into a position where you can help people by just being able to be honest about who you are. And that is something that I want more in my life of, for not only, the feeling of it, but also the fact of like, I want to give back more. I want to give to not only my people, my tribe,
Mhm.
but also those that are in my network, like the podcast guests or people who just look. 'Cause I've done this, kind of brings out a story. I did one group like panel
Mhm.
essentially, and there was like 30 people there. I got one guest that was like, "I'm here to see you." Like, legitimately came up to me after it was all said and done, was like, "Hey, I'm just here to see you and talk to you." And that felt good. That
Yeah.
felt like you, where it's like just smiling coming out of it. I was like, "Oh, Okay, cool. What do you want to chat about? And so, like, to be able to make an effect on one
Hmm.
person, let alone many people, is just, again, it's a feeling of like great pride and just also just like great, like, just remembrance of where you started from. Of like, it's a
Exactly.
really big flashback of
I
like,
don't know.
oh,
I don't know if
wow.
I told you last time that you were here. I work for ASU now,
Yeah, you were telling me, you were
and
giving me a little bit.
when they were giving me the job, the head lady for the division that I'm working for, human trafficking.
Yeah.
I was like, Dominique, I got something to tell you, and she's like, what? She's like, I already know you're a felon. She made a joke, laughing, and I was like, no, like I don't have no education, like I
I
don't
don't
have
know.
a
Yeah.
GED,
Yeah.
like certain little things that you. She's like, we're
Like
not hiring you
yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
We're hiring you for the experience.
Exactly.
And I was like, so what does that mean? She's like, that means that you're gonna have a position,
Yeah.
putting programs together.
Yeah.
And I was like, get out of here. And then, they asked for me a salary,
Yeah.
full benefits, retirement,
Great.
everything. And I was like, wow, like, look at what life gave me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like people don't realize it wasn't easy. Like I had to do work. I had to
Yes.
work on myself
Yes.
first. That was the most.
Mhm.
Like the education part, that's the easy part.
Yeah.
No, me healing as a man. I mean, even right now, the love that your guys' family, like how your wife, like, hey, congratulations. I wasn't used to none of that stuff,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And now it's like I could take it because now I receive it.
Yeah.
Before I was like, oh, what do you want from me? Or get away
Yeah.
from me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Like very
yeah,
standoffish
the
because
walls.
it doesn't compute in your brain about like those types of things. And that's in itself a truly big important step, which is being able to accept that
Yes.
kind of stuff. And so that is something that even if you got into that moment, just that,
I
and not
know.
not any of the other
Nothing of the
stuff,
other stuff.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
Like, and
thank you,
and
man.
just in that part. But to say that you now, like, again, years later, after all of you been what you've been through, to have even a position of like, to say I got a salary, like a salary position is not easy, and you did it without having to go through the same loops and steps that everyone else does. I Again, it's like, it's astonishing, and you are a testament to, if you work hard enough on just yourself
Mm-hmm.
and making you the pillar of what you truly want to be, you can go as far as your imagination will take you.
I mean, we're putting together a halfway house. The programs are being, on the iPads. They're all over. I leave to Florida next week for the same reason, visiting
Mhm.
12 prisons. Um, that Netflix thing that I filmed should be out by next year.
Dang.
Um, I'm signing up for a theater class next month in
Oh,
Scottsdale Community College
yeah.
because I want to get a little bit better at my acting
You
stuff.
should you should totally do that,
So-
because you know what I can see is like that 400 theater, like, is becomes a routine thing for you, where it's like it's a one-man show, like you, and just seeing you do that on a countrywide scale, or even a national scale too, where it's like, you can make a true effect on those around you just by being yourself and working on the craft, that is the things that will supplement you, like the acting. I Again, people go out into these one-man theater shows and they'll spend, gobs of money, but I think from the standpoint of learning from a very particular set of stories, especially the one that you've been through, people seek that
So
stuff.
I want to make my testimony, my story, like when I share it, but I want to make it into a theater.
Yeah, exactly. I think it should be. Like, honestly, like, if you can pull off the 400 Mesa like theater like that with 400 people, it can happen.
Dude,
Like
I
you
was
can
so scared. Let me tell you right now. Let me tell you.
I can imagine.
I got there and I was telling my boss, I don't think I could do this. As soon as I got there and I seen how big the room was and
Yeah.
everybody in there, I was like, I can't do this. And she's like, what do you mean you can't do this? I was like, I can't. She's like, you speak in front of people all the time. I was like, yeah, people inside prison,
Yeah, not
not officers, probation, like the whole other
side. Yeah,
aspect, the
yeah.
other side. And she's like, you got this.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man. And she kind of just pushed me out there, you know. What she did do for me, she got me an air mic because I hate holding the mic. I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
more nervous when I
Yeah.
hold the mic.
So you got
So I
the
got the little air one
Yeah.
that you just it holds right here.
nice.
And once I was able to just talk and use my hands,
Yeah.
oh, I just
Yeah, yeah. It's
it's
it's so much easier.
I just
Yeah.
flew off.
That's amazing. Well, it's
So,
like again, when you have I think it's one part, like she said, you've done this enough where you can kind of like it's muscle memory. You will find yourself saying the same kind of words, but maybe in a different, tone or pitch or whatever. But I think it's also the fact that it's needed. You needed to go step out of just speaking to those that you relate with to now speaking to those who see it from another perspective.
yes.
And it's great that you had that opportunity because it goes to show that you can talk to not only the one side, which is the prisoner side, but you can also now speak to the
To the
other
other side.
side, and that will give you ample like opportunities.
It's a big year. It's a big year for my career. Especially I got invited to the prison in Mexico.
Well, is that the same one that you were in, or
No, it's actually Querétaro. They're a very wealthy state in Mexico, so
Okay.
they're spending money on programs.
Okay.
Some of those programs are American
Yeah,
programs, so they wanted me to fly over there because I did 3 months ago. I did a speech for about 80 people internationally on how cartels use kids
Yeah.
to work for them.
Yeah.
And when I did that talk, a lot of people reached out to me and were like, "Hey, would you be coming over here?" They even invited me to the prison in El Salvador.
Oh wow.
I want to go there.
That
I want to
one's-
see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Um,
Intense.
I just know that this is a big year for my career. Not the acting stuff. No. Like it's a big year because I'm learning to teach
Mhm.
and I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
And like yesterday, I was at the juvenile prison and I said, you don't get to pick and choose when you're born or how you're
Yeah.
born or your parents.
Yeah.
None of that stuff. But you get to choose how it ends.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
not necessarily in that big factor like that, but you get to choose to do something about it.
Yes.
And I have to talk to those kids like that because those kids are 14, 15, 16 years old, but they have to go do 10, 15 years
Yeah.
with the adult males.
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody knows this, but 80% of those kids end up getting raped by an older
Mhm.
adult male
Yeah.
once they hit adult prison.
Yes.
So working with them, getting them mentally ready, strong, um, teaching them to build some of those walls because they're gonna need them in there.
Yes.
And tell them specifically that those walls are only for prison, not for real life.
Yeah.
Has been something that I've kind of gotten good at because I guess I lived it for so long that I'm able to teach it.
Yeah. And I think that's so important too, because that's giving them the opportunity to know that this part of your life will change.
Yep.
It will go away. It will turn into regular life
Yep.
when the outside is so much different than the inside. One of the things that I have started to learn is that the thing that you brought up, like life responds to effort. How much you give is how much sometimes you'll get back.
Yep.
And it's not always fair, but it's also just part of life. You just have to give yourself the grace to proceed forward and try your best at everything. And inside, I imagine that it is a little bit different because there are so many factors, but to have someone divulge, hey, look, I've been where you're at. There are things that you have to prepare for. There are things that you will let go as soon as you're
Hmm.
outside. And to give them that guidance of like, hey, look, your brain's going to warp. It's going to go certain directions, but you have to stay strong enough to realize
Yeah.
that it will change and you won't have to need these defenses anymore. And so that's important to learn as well, because to show them just one thing is to, you know, put them in a worse situation.
Yes.
And so that's, again, I look at this kind of stuff, and the way that you talk to these students and these guys that are in the teenagers is kind of like what I have to do with my son. I have to explain stuff to him where
Hmm.
it's like that he can understand it and digest it, of like, I can't just use my big words on him.
No.
I have to go down to like,
Yep.
and I'm relearning how to talk because of that.
Yep.
Is like, I try and put myself in his position of like, I don't understand these big words. What are the small words that get me
Yeah.
closer to helping him recognize this is this is good and this is not
Yeah.
good.
So it's funny that you say that because like they asked me to get them Bibles,
Mm,
and I got them kid Bibles
okay.
with colors,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah,
comic
yeah,
book,
yeah.
like a kid
Yeah, a
Bible.
kid Bible.
And they were like, "Why'd you get us kid Bibles?" I said, "Cause you're kids.
Yeah.
Just because you made grown man mistakes,
Yeah.
because no one was there to guide you,
Mhm.
doesn't mean that you're not a kid. You're a kid. So I
Mhm.
got you kid Bibles." Their
Yes.
smiles got so big
Yes.
because they need to be reminded.
It's those little things. It's that just in itself, because you care enough that you've been through it and you understood. It's like, hey, I wish someone would have cared enough to understand that I'm still a kid.
Yeah.
And just that alone will be the biggest thing that anyone will, for their perspective, the biggest thing anyone will ever do for them is just to understand, hey, look, you're a kid.
Yeah.
You're here, but you're still a kid. And
Yesterday's assignment was bleeding as I build.
mm,
They have to write
yeah.
like I guess like little essays
Yeah.
or whatever you
It's
want to call them.
important too.
I always tell them, I was so big on journaling when I was in prison. That's one of the main things that I teach, because on that journal, everything, even the studio is on that journal, even
Nice.
the prison work, my getting my license back,
Yeah.
child support.
Yeah.
My child support, I don't know if we talked about it on the episode. I owed $250,000 of child support when I got out.
Oh,
I got it down to
there
$32,000.
you go.
Like,
Nice.
it's been a struggle, but
Yeah.
doing things right.
Yeah. I like that.
You know,
This is also, I have a question for you from the standpoint of where you're at now, and especially you brought up your own kids. Um, your daughters are easier, but your son is a little bit harder. Have you shown your son your work, like your what you do with the other kids and stuff like that?
well, I think that's what makes him more mad. He thinks that I'm
Yeah.
not giving him the time, or I haven't been there.
Mm,
But what he doesn't realize is that he's very disrespectful with his words,
mm-hmm, yeah.
and
They come from a place of pain.
yes, and I understand that. That's why, at the first time he got me out of my square. I reacted just like him, and
Mhm.
I felt so bad because I was like, how am I being like that to my own boy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, so then I texted him. I was like, hey, when's your phone bill due? Money's always the way to get in.
Yeah. Especially with the old, like that generation.
That generation.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's due tomorrow. It's $300. And I was like, okay, where do you want it? Do you want it to your Cash App?
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, $300? I was like,
You're overpaying, my son.
so I sent him 100, and then
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'll send you 100 next week. He was like, cool, all right. So it's learning to
Yeah.
pick and choose your wars, man.
Yeah,
Especially
exactly.
with him right now that he's so hurt.
Yeah.
But
I think, with time and I could see that perspective, especially the you working with other kids that are probably around his age, or if not younger, the times like he would have wished you were there. But I think also, if you show him this episode, I think from a standpoint of like a younger father like myself, or just someone who's just starting out as a father, wanting the best for them will never ever stop. And just because you're not perfect and you weren't there for certain things doesn't mean that you're not trying to do
Yeah.
what's right and do what's better, but also from the standpoint of wanting to understand where his pain comes from is something that you're taking upon yourself as well. You speaking to these kids is easier because you have already been through that.
Yes.
You speaking to your son is harder
Harder.
because his mentality, his whole life has been different than what you went through.
Yes.
And it will probably be a hard challenge to get through, but I think, showing him certain things about like, hey, look, this is what dad's been through. This is what dad's went through. Just because I went through this doesn't mean that I'm not here for you.
Yeah.
It means that I have to articulate my perspective and also take in what you're telling me and also redefine it for me, reorganize it so that I can digest it
Yeah.
because I haven't lived what you lived through.
And my the mother of my daughter, my smallest one, she was like, "Give me his number. I'm gonna call him because I hate how people judge you and they don't realize that when you got home from prison, you were a mess trying to get a hold of all your kids.
Mhm.
Because I have five different moms, five
Yeah.
different kids. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So and I was trying to get a hold of them all because I knew how mad they were at me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was hit and miss with some of them. Some of them it's good.
Mhm. But you
But I
put
was
in the effort.
trying.
You put in the
I
effort.
was
You were trying.
trying.
Yeah.
And what they don't realize is that sometimes their moms are the ones that are bitter
Mhm.
and they raise the kid bitter, hating the dad, and they
Yeah.
don't even know why.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to tell my son. I was like, look, I know your mom, has, mixed feelings about me and all that stuff, but you don't even know me.
Mhm. You haven't gotten
You
to
haven't even
know.
gotten to know me.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing about me. You've
Yeah.
seen what I talked about and stuff, but you haven't gotten to know me. And so I was like, come and live with me. Come and live with me.
Mhm.
And he was like, no, fuck that. I'll kill you in your
Mhm.
sleep. And I
Yeah.
was like, funny. You think you're the only crazy one around here?
Yeah. And that's the tough part is seeing such aggravation and attitude from the person that kind of looks like you
Exactly.
and kind of represents, that. And it's hurt people of like, he's hurt. He wants to hurt
Yes.
someone else.
He wants to hurt.
And that's you're trying your best to make sure that he doesn't, and also that you're vulnerable enough to be like, hey, look, you're my son. I'm here for you. And I'm, whatever anger you have towards me, that's okay, but we're gonna work through this together. Like I went through life, regretting or whatever it is, doing the things that I did and ending up here, but at least I'm giving an opportunity for change. I'm
Yeah.
giving an opportunity for growth. And if you walk with me on this path, I know like we can make this work. We can definitely be going back.
I would love to have my son by my side doing that work with me.
That would be amazing.
Man, would
Yeah.
that be amazing?
It would
Like to
be
go in with
something-
him.
Yeah, it would be something very vulnerable for you, but also for him. And I think ultimately, if let's say you get that one man show where it's like, and he's sitting in the audience, like I would cry to see that be a documentary.
A documentary.
Like seeing your son kind of watch
yeah.
from the audience perspective and
Man.
getting his take on everything. It's like it's amazing because again, it's like that you both have lived two separate lives that are very
Different but similar at the same time.
Yeah, because you went without a father and he's living without a father who's trying to do something better. Like it's just all different perspectives.
Yes.
And to come together in that like one moment of like you being vulnerable, hopefully he's being vulnerable enough to listen, I think would be incredible.
One of these days. All right, we're gonna stop talking about sad stuff. Welcome to the Wrong to Strong JC program. All right, so what are you doing now?
Now we are in the midst of we're updating a lot of our back end stuff. So we've taken on more clients, so doing more production work, but we're also moving into studio spaces. Man, I gotta admit, this is a beautiful studio. I wish you would have reached out earlier before we started making changes, but I'm not like you brought this up earlier or when I came here to visit you before was like you're not trying to challenge or like there's enough room for all
Yeah.
of us, and if I can send some people to your studio, I'm gonna do it. I have no doubt that there will be a space for all of us to work together, but I definitely want people to check this place out. This is a great studio. Secondly, just I went in August. I I say walked away. I got let go from my corporate job.
Okay.
Um, Granted, there were some things that were in the background of it, but the one main thing was like I wasn't as passionate as I am about
Of
this
course not.
podcast stuff.
Yeah.
And so when they let me go, it was like, oh, here we go. Like I just kind of stuck with it because of that thing of like you get used to doing
Yes.
you get fed enough and you get used to being
Mhm.
fed. And so that kind of mentality switched the day they were like, okay, you can pick your stuff up and go. And I remember I was in the car, I was about to cry, and I was about to cry, and I was like, and it switched. Something switched where I was like, you know what? You guys did me a fucking favor.
Fair.
You
Yeah.
guys did me a favor on God, on everything that I'm trying to do as far as a podcaster and a father. You guys gave me an out
That
that
push you needed
a
off
nice
the
little
edge.
push. And so now we've been doing a lot of the work that we've been putting off to the side and putting away
Yeah.
for a rainy day. I'm like, gimme, gimme, gimme,
Yeah.
gimme, gimme. And so, and that in itself reverberated to you where, we got people who are like, hey, I want to see you again, or oh, I want to hang,
See
what do
how
you,
God's timing is
it's
just
it's so
it's
amazing.
wicked. Like
Yeah.
it's so it's and a couple of I want to say about 2 years. Was it 2 years ago, James, when we filmed at that house? Yeah, 2 years ago. I said I was making about 4,000 a month personal training,
Mhm.
and I was like, I gotta make more.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, well, work more, and I'm like, it's not. I need to make more. So what I did to make myself make more, I moved into this house across the street from the Biltmore
Oh,
that the rent was 7,000 a month,
jeez.
way more than the 4,000 I was
yeah,
making
yeah,
a month.
yeah.
So let alone the rent, the bills were 7,000, then everything else, the 4,000, I still had them in bills.
Mhm.
Okay, we moved in. I said I have to make more. Oh, I started making more.
No, yeah.
As soon as I started making more, I told my wife, we got to move out. She was like, why? I was like, cuz now that we have this money,
Mhm.
we could do something with it. So
Yeah.
we moved out. We down. But that I believe that change comes with pain.
Yes.
Change comes with discomfort.
Yeah. Yes.
And if they wouldn't have got rid of you, you wouldn't have made that jump. Like I tell people, I walked away from the gym Cinco de Mayo of this year.
Mhm.
I was making $15,000 a month cash.
Jeez.
I walked away from that to make this my full-time job,
Mhm.
only making 4,000. That's my salary right now,
Yeah.
4,000 a month.
Yeah.
So it was a big chunk of money that went away. But the thing is that I know this long term.
Mhm.
I have it written on I'm a numbers guy. I wrote everything down.
Yeah.
6 months from now, this studio is gonna be putting $10,000 in my pocket.
I have no doubt. Like I really don't have any doubt in that because I'm like looking around and just from the perspective of like views and just what you bring to the table with the studio and just the possibilities that I see in just what you guys have made so far. I have very high hopes and I have very well like my inclination is that you're going to bring out something great from this studio. And whether it's from you or from a client, you guys are going to pop and it's going to be big. And I have high hopes that it'll just sustain you guys for the longest time. And like honestly, from who you are as a person to the guys that you got working for you to the place that you're at, like this location is all prime
Uh,
for greatness.
I I know location is key.
Mm-hmm.
Packaging is key.
Yes, yes. You've got a
and,
great package here.
and I tell people, when you come to the studio, we give you a team. You don't just come in and we don't just turn on the lights for you. Like we give you a team. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you need help coming up with titles or social media or just anything that has to do with that, we help you.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, yesterday I was talking to someone and she was like, well, what's your experience? I said, my experience has got me on the National Geographic channel, on the
Mhm.
Travel channel. I mean, I could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And I said, but I'm not saying it because of that. I said, I'm good at it because I've been consistent at doing it for years now,
Mhm.
and I haven't stopped.
Yeah, same. That's my whole mentality of like people ask us is like, okay, what makes you so good at what you do? I'm like, doing it for 10 plus years. And I'm still doing it. Like people ask me like, okay, well, how many episodes do you have? Like I have
How many episodes do you have?
we're coming on 500. Like we're so close. We're like 480.
And you never changed the color, right? It was always black and white, black and white.
So there's a reason why that is.
Okay.
When I first started, it's that thing of like everyone deserves a chance at the table. And my thing was like, okay, well, no one gets more than that chance. It's like I want people to be telling their story for the story. Not to like make it better than what it is or anything like that. It should be that people come to us for storytelling and not for the vibrancy of the like. Let's say because you dress black and white and just not bright colors. We've had people who've had the jewelry, the tattoos.
I understand now.
So it's like just because
they're
you
in a
look
neutral
different,
position.
everyone's neutral because everyone deserves a chance to tell their story, and that's why I chose black and white. Now you can look at it and say, oh, that's ultimately not fair or whatever. But I'm like, it's worked for us because I try my best. Like my whole thing was like, tell the story that the person is here to tell, not, hey, this business stands out because, they're exciting in A, B, and C. No, it's exciting because they have worked so hard to become the person that they are today. And so that's why I chose black and white.
That's good,
It's
man.
like-
And I give you props too for keeping locked in and not
Yeah.
changing.
There are little changes here and there. They're
Yeah,
like
but
intro,
you stuck to your
yeah, I
your
stuck to
thing.
my guns, and like that was something that it's like, um, it's sometimes hard, but sometimes I'm like, you know what, I like what I do. We'll add things. So there's a couple of things. So the thing about like us being just Arizona because we're called Finding Arizona, we've started to step outside.
Yes,
where
you have to.
Yeah. So now we're doing something called neighborhood narratives. And it's the idea of like, we're not the only state on the block, and we have other people outside of the state that do business with our state. And we're going to try and tell their stories now. So we've had a couple of emails come in from people who work in Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, California, wanting to share who they are and what they're going to bring to Arizona. Now we're making that into a Substack, a second show, essentially, that shares those stories and gives them an opportunity to come in.
Yeah, you have to can't lock yourself into one box because then you kind of
especially when people are knocking at the door for like help like or like help, we like what you do, we want to give you more, so let us come in. And so it's like we were kind of hard pinned about, hey, you're not in the state, blah blah blah, like we can't really highlight you. And so I, being the person that I'm like, well, maybe we try something. Yeah, give it a shot, see what it looks like.
Even with technology now, man, it's like I was telling James, like there's so much stuff out there now that like it's easier to do shorts, clips.
Exactly.
I mean, I was cloning my voice the other day
for AI.
Nice. So I could get ahead of my recordings because
even voiceover stuff too.
I'm doing so much right now. Like that's why we built the voiceover room. We built the other room so like I could just get all my work done here.
Yeah.
And
that's really smart because I've seen some other guys do mass production advertisement, like
Hmm.
voiceover advertisement, where it's just this shot right here, the headshot,
Yep.
and like this changes because of AI, like this part of the
Yep.
mouth changes because of AI, and they churn out news, whatever, and I'm like,
There's
I
so
don't,
much stuff now, and that's the thing. If you don't take advantage, so right now I'm about to launch my podcast called La Vida Sin Reglas.
okay,
And it's like an old school radio opera kind of
yeah,
show. Like you're gonna hear the horses running, you're gonna hear the
nice,
gunshots.
I love that,
But it's gonna be a story.
yeah,
They're not gonna be true stories.
hmm
Not all the way, but there's gonna be some. But it's gonna be something that I grew up listening to, because I grew up
okay,
listening to a lot of those novelas on the radio.
yeah,
Growing up as a kid, I
yeah,
would listen to them. I want to bring those back
absolutely.
into podcasting. So
There are some people who do like, so there's a guy that I know that does a couple of those things, but his is like taking his style where he would be like more modern, and he's a numbers guy, so he
mm,
does a lot of like, why do we, why are Canadian hockey teams good at, picking out high
yeah,
schoolers? And he goes through the numbers. He's like, well, they have a junior league that does this and then goes up until high school. And in those stories, he'll throw in the audio.
got
And
it.
so he started to, make his style evolve
Yeah, yeah.
into those novellas. And I find it so fascinating, so cool. And I think we should go back to that style. Like adding those things only brings more vibrancy to the story.
People don't realize that this is the way that humanity has learned, is through stories,
Mhm.
through the elders telling the stories
Mhm.
to the younger group.
Yeah.
Um, I believe it's why we need mentors right now. I was talking to someone yesterday. We live in a time right now where I believe a lot of men are very selfish right now.
Mhm. Oh, no,
and
I agree
and it's all
100%.
about me
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
And a lot of the kids are paying for it. Like a
Mhm.
lot of these younger men are growing up without mentors,
Yeah.
without people to look up to, and hurt kids, hurt people.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's a tricky talk to have, because people will be like, um, well, just because you grew up the way that you grew up, and I was like, you don't need to grow up the way that I grew up to be a broken man.
Mhm.
And the reason why I say that is because one of the programs that I'm teaching at ASU is it's called Be the Man, and it teaches men to not pay for sex,
Mhm.
not be okay with pornography, anything that takes away from women.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah.
Sex, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That society has deemed like normal. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's normal to go to strip club. Oh, it's
Yeah.
normal to pay a prostitute.
Yeah.
That it's not, and to teach them to not be okay with it, just to teach them the morals.
Mhm. Yeah.
And my opening question was, who uses the word bitch here to refer to a woman?
Mm.
And everybody raised their hand.
Yeah.
I said, who has a daughter here? Everybody almost like wanted to hide their hands,
Mhm.
And I said, a daughter, a mother, a sister, a
Mhm.
cousin. I said, the same way that you guys respect and look at those women should be the same way you guys respect and look at all women,
Yeah.
not just those.
Yeah.
Because that's someone's sister, that's someone's mother. And it's crazy because it seems so simple, but me explaining it to them like that,
Mhm.
they were like, oh man, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. And it takes, it's that thing of like, you don't know what you don't know. And
Exactly.
that's some people just need that realization, and some people need a helping hand and reinforcement of that realization.
And the right person giving the message, because the warden said, man, you would be the only one to get away with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, those words are strong words in prison.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's like, bro, he shook my hand when I left that day, and it's crazy because now staff is starting to see more and more what I'm doing, because they sit in my classes now.
Yeah.
And yesterday, the officer sat through my whole class with the juveniles. My first video was to show them when I broke all the records here in Arizona when I was powerlifting.
Yeah.
And I told them, I didn't know that I could be a power lifter. I didn't know that I could break all these records.
Mhm.
I was like, it took someone to tell me and show me
Yeah.
that I could do it. But look at
Yeah.
once he showed me,
Yeah.
I went to 5 competitions and picked up a bunch of medals.
There's a story that I like. There's two things that I want to bring up. One is the story of breaking records. Is most humans didn't think that we could beat a sub 4 mile until the very first person did it. Now we have high schoolers doing it. And it takes one person to show that it's possible for that effect, that rainfall effect, to start happening and trickling in, because it's only impossible until you see it firsthand.
Yep.
And the other thing I want to bring up too is the thing that I've been living a lot of my life now is uh, it's kind of like looking past myself, is like looking towards the future, my son,
Mhm.
and that has affected my life for the better. Is like having a child gave me the opportunity to look at the world in a different light. And one of my favorite things that I like to bring up, or like a saying that I live by, is that a community is built by those who plant trees that they know they won't sit under the shade of. And the idea of like a better tomorrow is those men who are willing to sacrifice for the better of the future, not
Yep.
just for themselves, not just for, to live a better life for just them.
I loved how you said that.
It's going past
Yeah.
yourself. It's knowing that, when you are no longer a part of this world, that you're leaving at least
Something
something,
bigger.
yeah, something bigger, something better.
I love how you said that because it is a sacrifice. It is a sacrifice, but you can't look at it like, oh, I'm gonna sacrifice so I could drive that
Mhm.
Lamborghini because I already did that. I already
Mhm.
made that sacrifice, making a bunk lie, saying that it was for my kids and my family,
Mhm.
but it wasn't because I was the one wearing the gold chains. I was the one, the
Mhm.
chinchilla coats.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
it's easy to.
It's easy to sacrifice when it's yourself, but it's even harder to sacrifice when it's not for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And that's something that I'm like, something that I've learned too, was like from our tribal learnings, was like 7 generations. You are affected by the generations
Yeah.
before you, and you're going to affect the
The generations
generations
ahead
after
of
you.
you. November 6th,
Okay.
2021, I got on my knees for the first time
Wow.
and I asked God to help me. It's the first time I got spiritual, and everybody made fun of me because when I did the interview with you, I still didn't believe in God, didn't believe
Mhm.
in nothing, just my pain.
Yeah, you were just speaking words, and that's one thing I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a good episode, because he's fresh from hurt, and he's speaking words that will probably change, but some of them were like, man, I don't know, he's got something here. Yeah.
And then it's crazy because a lot of people were like, "Oh, you should have found God in prison, not out here." And I'm like, man, I wasn't looking for nothing positive when I was in prison. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't. I didn't even know who I was.
I think it would muddy the waters even more. The sense of like, oh, there's something positive out of here, and now I'm stuck. Like, why do I deserve
Yeah,
this and not what's out there?
I don't know, but it changed my life, man. I tell people, when I got on my knees that day, something supernatural happened, and I believe that spirituality is something that every human possesses. Like
Hmm.
whether, and I respect everybody's religion and
Yeah.
spiritual beliefs and all that stuff, but I strongly believe that God lives inside of us now, and from that day on, I have seen the change in me, not the material stuff.
Yeah.
No, the man that I'm becoming, like
Great.
the man that is able to turn around and hug someone if they're crying or listen to someone that has something to say
Yeah.
and something that things that I had never done before.
Hmm.
I tell people one of the stories that I used at the ASU presentation was when I first got, and this was right after I met you. There was a woman that was getting beat up at the train station for her phone. They were trying to rob her for her phone.
Yeah.
And I just reacted. I ran. I started hitting the guys. I reacted. I didn't go do it because I wanted to be a good guy. No, I reacted because I wanted violence. I was
Hmm.
used to it. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted to participate in it.
Yeah.
Um, And it wasn't until that cop, he asked me for my ID because the cops got there and everything. I was so scared. I gave him my ID and he's like, why are you shaking? And I said, because I shouldn't have police contact. I'm scared. I'm on probation. And he was like, dude, you're the hero today.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I didn't know what a good guy felt like until that day that police officer told me that.
Yeah.
Was the first time that I started thinking, man, I could be a good guy.
Yeah. Same result is for your moment. That is the same thing with the kids of getting the Bibles, of like, we just want someone to look at us differently, or we just want that someone to give us a care enough to like
Yeah.
tell us certain things. And so perfect full circle moment of like, gosh, to give someone perspective.
Yeah.
And then also then you are able to now give others perspective. That's incredible.
Well, I think the whole 360 came with us reconnecting again. And you know, when I found you, I was like, man, you know,
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. First off, that's just, again, I go back to like some of these episodes and I'm like, yeah, I still talk to them, or yeah, they're doing their own thing. And to have someone who just like seeks us out and like will come back later down the road, I'm fully on board. And it's just incredible to see again, all of this is, you're a success story in itself, but you're a success story for those that you've been around too. So it's like, I feel successful because hell, I was like, hey, you've got something and you ran with it. So I'm like, that's a success story to me.
no, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I want to thank you for bringing your family.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just thank you for that day. Uh, I always say, you know, things don't happen just to happen.
Mhm.
That obviously that interview, that podcast started something in me, and here we are now today. I tell people my episode on the National Geographic has been viewed over 200 million times, and I was like, and who would have thought that, just from a kid from the south side of Chicago, you know, coming to move to Arizona and to get away from everything, you know.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? And now the studio, now the work that's happening, just everything that those stories started.
Yes.
Because
Exactly.
that's what happened. Those stories started something,
Yeah.
and that's where we're at, man.
Man, I appreciate you for even just giving me the opportunity to share your story, but also the fact that you've taken the time out of your day and your travels and journeys, to remember me, like to remember, just where it came from, or just like that first moment of like, oh, this gave me opportunity to do something else. You didn't have to. And I always say to all of our guests, you don't have to shout us out. I don't care. I'm the cheerleader. I'm the guy that wants you on the show. But when you take the time out of your day, or take the time for yourself of what you're going through, to be like, hey, Jose, thank you. Or just be like, hey, come in, see the studio, see what I got. It really does make me feel good. It does.
I appreciate it, man. And this is what I always say, guys. Don't ever forget where you came from,
Mhm.
but it doesn't mean that you have to stay there.
Exactly.
My name's JC. I am Wrong the Strong. Súbanse a la Suburban, and let's get this rolling.
Yeah.